For decades, the joke about Brazil has been that it's the country of the future and always will be. Despite enormous natural resources, it has long displayed an uncanny ability to squander its vast potential. Now, it's beginning to look like Brazil might have the last laugh. While most of the world is consumed with debt and unemployment, Brazil is trying to figure out how to manage an economic boom. It was the last country to enter the Great Recession, the first to leave it, and is poised to overtake France and Britain as the world's fifth largest economy. Its outgoing president may be the most popular politician on the planet, and with the World Cup and the Olympics on the way, Brazil is about to make its grand entrance on the global stage.
When most people think of Brazil, they think of its passion and excellence in soccer. Not of skyscrapers in Sao Paulo, the financial hub of a fledgling economic superpower. They think of the pulsating beat of the samba and carnival, not commodities or the world's largest cattle industry. They see the beaches of Ipanema and Copacabana and breathtaking vistas.
It's quite a view.
Yes, incredible, huh?
Not Brazilian tycoons like Ike Batista, who has the best view in Rio, not to mention a net worth of $27 billion.
How do most Americans see Brazil?
They think Buenos Aires is the capital of Brazil, so they mix us with other countries around South America.
Most powerful country in South America?
GDP-wise, we are bigger than all the other countries together. And, you know, in the last 16 years, Brazil has put its act together. This is it. Hello, time for Americans to wake up.
With most of the world's economy stagnant, Brazil's is growing at 7%, 3 times faster than America. It is a huge country, slightly larger than the continental U.S., with vast expanses of arable farmland, an abundance of natural resources, and 14% of the world's fresh water. 80% of its electricity comes from hydropower. It has the most sophisticated biofuels industry in the world, and for its size, the world's greenest economy. Brazil is already the largest producer of iron ore in the world and the world's leading exporter of beef, chicken, orange juice, sugar, coffee, and tobacco, much of it bound for China, which has replaced the U.S. as Brazil's leading trade partner.
And Brazil has the size to match China's appetite.
You have
it's a big
everything.
dragon on the other side.
You have everything they need.
Yeah, we have, yes. You need the Brazil to basically fulfill the Chinese needs.
It's not just commodities that are driving the Brazilian boom. The country has a substantial manufacturing base and a large auto industry. Aviation giant Embraer is the world's third largest aircraft manufacturer behind Boeing and Airbus, and a main supplier of regional jets to the U.S. market. One thing obvious to Lula was the social and economic chasm separating Brazil's rich and poor. He gave the poor families a monthly stipend of $115 just for sending their children to school and taking them to the doctors. The infusion of cash helped lift 21 million people out of poverty and into the lower middle class, creating an untapped market for first-time buyers of refrigerators and cars. But he was also far friendlier to business than anyone expected, encouraging growth and development and maintaining conservative fiscal policies and tight banking regulations that left Brazil unscathed by the world financial crisis. And he also charmed the international committees that awarded Brazil the 2016 Olympics and the World Cup of 2000 that announced the country's arrival as an international player and will present some challenges for Brazil's next president. She is Dilma. There are still some non-believers. Given its checkered record for living up to its promise, the rap against Brazil is that it lacks ambition. It's called the Brazilian way. Why do something today that you can pay someone to do the day after tomorrow? Brazilians put up with incredibly high taxes on almost everything, have a high tolerance for corruption, bureaucratic red tape, and according to Eduardo Bueno, harbor a secret love affair with incompetence.
President Charles de Gaulle of France once said that Brazil is not a serious country. Do you believe that? Is Brazil a serious country now?
It's not a serious country in several instances because they say that they're going to do something and then don't do something. Here in Rio de Janeiro, you can invite someone to your house, they say they're going to come, and they don't show up, and they don't think it's, no, who cares? But how can you do business in a loose way? How can you run a country in a loose way?
While many in Brazil's cities lust for first world status, the third world is never far away. For decades, Brazil ignored the festering slums known as favelas, which wrap around Rio, overlooking some of the most valuable real estate in the city. They have been staging areas for street crime against tourists and safe havens for drug gangs so well armed that they brought down a police helicopter a few years ago with heavy machine gun fire. Whatever happens in Brazil, no one will be able to blame it on a lack of money. That's because 150 miles off the coast lie what are believed to be the largest discoveries of oil found anywhere in the world in the past 35 years. Petrobras, the state-owned oil company, is preparing to drill 20,000 feet below the surface of the Atlantic to reach oil fields that sit underneath layers of salt beds. But the oil discoveries were just the latest proof that God is Brazilian. An economist from Goldman Sachs, no less, have predicted that Brazil, along with Russia, China, and India, will dominate the world economy in the 21st century. If it happens, Brazil would be a different kind of superpower, one that would rather make love, not war. It has no nuclear arsenal, and aside from contributing a small number of troops to the Allied cause in 1944, Brazil hasn't fought a war since 1870.
Why fight? With all the pleasures, beach and sun, war, forget it. Soccer? Let's watch a soccer game. Let's go to the beach. Let's drink a beer.